This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with Auto Quote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Regen auf mein Kopf. Hinten wie ein Deckel muss es die kleine Fahrt ein Top. Geht mir kein Sach nicht, die Tropfen von Regen.
Welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold. I am now 60 years old, and I'm Judy Gold, old gold Judy. Anyway, this week we have part two of my conversation with Al Franken. And it was so fun to do this interview in person. And it was right after the election. And so this part two has a lot of politics in it. And I think you're going to find it fascinating. I did. And there was so much more I wanted to ask him. And I do miss him in the Senate. You know, I feel like that was a fucking mistake. So I think you're going to really love it. Okay, so let me just tell you a couple things. I was so fucking surprised on my birthday. Henry and Elisa both planned this fucking... I can't even tell you. I had a small dinner, and then I thought that was the end of my birthday. You know, Henry tells me he left his wallet at the Comedy Cellar, so of course I'm like, oh God. I was so mad because it was raining and we had to walk over to the Comedy Cellar, and I was screaming at him, and then I walk in and the room is packed, and I got roasted by the greatest comics: Rich Voss, Ophira Eisenberg, John Fish, Colin Quinn, Sherrod Small, and Elisa was fucking hilarious. And people came from all over. My friend Gary Corgan came from LA, and all my tennis friends were there. Peggy and Patty and Julie and Polly and Jenny and Gillian, like all my tennis friends who I couldn't fuck. And then my friends' friends. And then like Jay Cohen made the best cake. Shoshana Bean sung Happy Birthday to me. Benj Pasek was there. I mean, I feel like I shouldn't say all these people because I'm going to miss someone, but everyone, Elisa's sister Jill came with her husband Al and our nephew Jaden. Oh, there's Jews, and my sister came, and my niece, and blah 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 blah. There was a lot of Jews, but there was a lot of non-Jews, and it was and Liz at the Comedy Cellar, who's the fucking bomb. I mean, I can't believe everyone kept this for me. Liz Foriati, who runs the fucking place, and Noam Dorman, who owns the Comedy, like everyone. I was literally in shock, and I fucking loved it. And I love getting picked on and abused by my fellow comics. There's no greater honor. So to everyone who came, thank you. To everyone I missed mentioning, sorry. But it was just a fucking night to remember, and it's recorded. So I'm going to watch it 150 times. Million times. And then I got some videos from like my friend Wendy Liebman and Susie Essman and Joy Behar, and who else sent me? Oh, Tom Papa. Oh, he's not Jewish, but he grew up in New Jersey. And my friends, and it was just, I can't. I feel lucky. I'm not even being negative. It's really weird. By the way, I'm telling you this now before we begin. I have shows that you need to come to. December 3rd in Westchester, in Scarsdale. I'm at B-Side Comedy. The early show sold out. I have a 9:00 show. Get your ass there, okay? Or die. And then I'm going to be at the Chosen Comedy Festival in Miami on December 14. I'm at the Boca Black Box Theater on December 15. I'm going to be doing Christmas Day at Stand Up New York in New York City because the Jews need to go laugh. And what else do I have? I'm in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. in January, and I'm at the DC Comedy Loft. Oh, Sellersville, I'm there January 21st. I'm at the DC Comedy Loft January 26, 20 to 28. Who cares? All right. I just go to my fucking website and look at my gigs. But I can't, first of all, and Democracy won. So can you fucking believe it? What a great week. Even though fuckface, I don't even want to talk about him with his stupid, like, announcing. Like, no, everyone hates him. It's fucking kids won't even, whatever. So that's it. I'm 60. I love all of you. I love that. You're going to fucking love this episode. Fucking love it. It's amazing. I love Al Franken. He's so fucking smart. And I just, yeah. And he's a great guy. And I got to thank Laura Vogel, and, you know, and Brittany, I can't even tell you. I mean, I'll thank them at the end, but they really worked their ass off to do this live podcast, and the Midnight Theater and the staff there. And just the fact that I've got to lose weight. That's really important because I've been eating cake. But yeah, so sit back, relax, and enjoy part 2 of my conversation with the one and only Al Franken. So you leave after 95. Did you really leave? You wanted the anchor spot, I wanted
an update,
gave it to Norm Macdonald.
And they picked Norm Macdonald, which I think was the best, in retrospect, better choice because one, was hilarious, and two, my political bias I'd already made pretty clear by then. I don't think that was probably right, but I'd always wanted to do update, and I didn't get it. And I said, I've been here 15 seasons,
right?
So it's time to leave. And then that's when I wrote Rush Limbaugh as a big
You started writing political satire. Now, your parents, when you became so successful on SNL, were they proud?
Very proud.
They weren't like,
of course.
They didn't care that you.
No, they were very supportive of my brother being a photographer. They were very supportive of me being a comedian. They were thrilled.
I love them. You were very close with Paul Wellstone.
Yep. Well, he was a good friend.
Yeah, and
he was a good friend. You know, there's a lot of people who say like this person, Paul Wellstone, was my mentor. He wasn't, or that kind of thing. And we were friends, and I really admired him tremendously. But we were good.
Even though
his
friends. Name was changed from like Wellstonowitz or whatever.
I'm sure it was Wellstein or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think he didn't change it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I just had to put that in there. When did you know I got to run for office? I got to do this.
Well, that's pretty. I know exactly when, or I didn't say I have to, but this is what happened. So Paul won in 90,
right?
And it was an amazing upset. And he'd been a professor at Carleton College. And then he wins again in 96. And then in 2002, he's running for re-election.
Right.
And he's in a dead heat with Norm Coleman, the Republican. And in October of 2002, he's got a vote on the Iraq War, and he's against it. And a pretty sizable majority of Minnesotans were for going to war. So he's in this dead heat, even in the polls, and he votes against it. And he said to his friends, including me, I think this is the end of my career, this vote. The next poll came out, and he was ahead by 7 points.
Wow.
And that's because Minnesotans respect a politician who just votes the way he believes. They just respect that. So he was going to win that race, and then his plane went down.
I can't. And his wife and his daughter were on that plane.
And 3 aides and the 2 pilots, of course. But it's horrible, horrible tragedy. And Coleman ends up winning the race. And in April, I think, March or April of the next year, after Coleman's been in office for like 2 months, he does an interview with Roll Call, which is a Capitol Hill newspaper. And he says this: to be blunt, I'm a 99% improvement over Paul Wellstone. And when I read that, I went, who the fuck is going to beat this guy? And I thought, okay. And I moved back to Minnesota. I started doing Air America right after
Yeah,
that.
you had a radio show.
Yeah, and I moved to Minnesota to see if I would be the best guy to do that. And I started in the 06 campaign. I went around the state campaigning, doing fundraisers for other Democrats, DFLers, Democratic Farmer Labor Party, that's our party there. And people responded, and I said, I think I could do this, and I did it.
What did Franny say when you said,
Go ahead and do it? And she was great. I wouldn't have won without her at all. Yeah.
What a story. What the shift. Now, I always say it's not a coincidence that Zelensky is so successful and he's a comedian. I think that they are related.
We're the bravest people in the world.
Well,
comedians. Jewish comedians especially.
Right.
And Jewish comedians who go into politics.
Yeah.
And that's why, he and I are the two bravest
people in the entire world to ever exist. But I've heard you say he's a performer. He knows how to communicate to a crowd.
Of course.
So here you are. I mean, I know how a comedian's mind works.
Yeah.
Like everything is a joke. No matter what happens, you're like, oh, you find the joke.
Right.
So here you are, and you can't say what you're thinking, right?
Exactly. First of all, everything I had done in comedy during the campaign was put through the dehumorizer.
Right.
This is this machine developed by
I think that's going around the country now, the dehumorizer.
The machine's been updated.
Yeah.
It was originally Israeli technology.
Right.
Oddly. And, okay. But, and then, so I won by 312 votes. I had this long recount.
Yep, I remember.
We're looking at Nevada now, and there may be a recount there. There may be a recount in the Boebert race in Colorado. Mm-hmm. So long recount, I get there, and I just want to, I know that I just got to prove to the people of Minnesota that I'm there to do the work, to put my head down, be a workhorse, not a show horse. I don't do any press except I'm asked to do all the meet the press, all that shit.
Right.
I go, nope. I just do Minnesota press. And my team says, do not be funny. Don't be funny. Don't be funny. I just put your head down. I go, I know, I understand. Put my head, just don't. And they go, don't be funny. I said, I got it. But I didn't really internalize it.
Right.
And so the first day I'm there, and I get sworn in. It was just a thrill.
Like, were you freaking out? Like, could you believe this is happening to you?
I could. It took so fucking long. It was like a 6 months, 9 months from when I won the election to when I got sworn in.
But is it weird winning by such a small majority, and you're like, oh, they don't really... Like, I would be so insecure.
Well, it wasn't that. It was that I just went... I got to show people why I'm here.
Right.
So I take the subway back to the office. It's the first time I'm in my office, and it's in the Hart Building. And I go up there, and I get to my desk, and there's a slip of paper there, and I learn that one of your duties as a senator is to write congratulatory notes to constituents. And this first one was for Ruth Anderson of Marshall, Minnesota, who's turning 110. And so I got out my official stationery for the first time, and I wrote, "Dear Ruth, you have a bright future." and so my new assistant comes and takes it to my new chief of staff, and he's in, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a joke." And he said, "Uh-huh. You think Ruth Anderson will find it funny?" And I said, I don't know. She's 110.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, you think her family will find it funny? And then I started thinking, oh, yeah. And I thought about, like, her 90-year-old son reading it.
Yeah.
You've got a bright future. Well, that's pretty mean. But it's funny,
right. What'd you change it to?
What's your secret? I think it was like.
Didn't that kill you a little bit inside?
It did.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, that family will love that joke.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
that's meant I wasn't cut out to be a senator. So, but they said, don't be funny on floor speeches. Don't be funny in hearings. Like the second week I'm there, Sotomayor hearings, and I'm on judiciary. So, she was a prosecutor, and she said something about some other questioning. She said, I became a prosecutor because I watched Perry Mason. So it gets to me, and I go like, why'd you become a prosecutor from watching a show where the prosecutor lost every time? and she said, well, actually, he won once. And I said, okay, well, we'll get back to that later. This was at the beginning. I had 30 minutes questioning. So I had developed my question. I didn't have time. I had about a minute and a half left at the end. I didn't have time to develop a new line of questioning. So I said, well, okay, you said that Perry Mason lost one case. What was the case? And she goes, I don't know. And I said, didn't the White House prepare you? Which is,
right.
And big laugh. And then, does Al Franken have to be funny? I mean, really, I got this criticism.
Oh, God.
And it was clearly not like, I didn't go, okay, Judge Sotomayor, I'll ask, what did he lose? You say, I don't remember, and I'll have the joke. I mean, it was just clearly something.
It's because they're jealous. Don't you think it's because they can't do that?
No, it's because they're the press. It wasn't the other senators complaining. Right. It was the media going like, oh, good, we got him. I got a story here. I got something I can write.
Right.
Some bullshit thing I can write that'll get readers and now clicks,
Right.
And that's all it is. This is more digestible for readers than
they just
something
want a story.
Actually important and serious.
Right.
This week's episode of It's Judy Show with Judy Gold is sponsored by BetterHelp. And if you know me, which I think you do because you're listening to my podcast right now, you know that I am a big advocate for therapy. I think it benefits everyone. I think there's so many people who need it, who don't partake. It is so important for your emotional health and well-being. Therapy is fantastic. It is in every stretch of the imagination. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, please do it. But please give BetterHelp a try. It is entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It suits your schedule. You fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I have switched therapists in my life. I've had many, many therapists, and sometimes it's not a great fit for you, but don't give up. Therapy is beneficial. You can learn about yourself. You can process and just be emotionally healthy. I'm telling you, do it. BetterHelp is great because, when I used to schlep to my therapist's office, it was so annoying. You have to do and you sit there and you wait, and then I'm telling you, doing it online is fantastic. And BetterHelp is amazing. I know a lot of people who've used it. So if you're thinking about therapy, go to BetterHelp.com. Let the gratitude flow. This is Gratitude Month, people. So you need to let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold, JudyGold, today, and you will get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome.
Were you like pinching yourself like, oh my God, I'm in the Senate chambers.
Yeah,
I'm like, who were you excited to meet?
Well, I was excited to meet President Obama.
Yeah.
There were Carl Levin. I mean, I was, I knew Yeah, very good.
Yes, thank you.
You know, I was. There were certain colleagues there that I was, excited to meet. The first day I got there, I'm on the floor, and Carl was one of them, and I'm talking to like Leahy, who was, one of the senior senators, and a couple of others, and they start talking about how bad it is, and one of them says like it's the worst it's been, and Levin goes, no, it's been worse. And I say, when? He says, 1854. And I go, Charles Sumner being caned? He goes, yes. And I said, well, okay, well, that was in the lead up to the Civil War. And he goes, yeah. But since then, this is the worst. So, and then since then, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with these people who are hateful? Like you said, Lindsey Graham is the funniest senator.
Lindsey is funny. I
mean,
know you don't want to hear that.
How do you separate?
Well, Lindsey just became awful, a few years ago.
Why do you think he became awful?
Because Trump was president and he made a decision he wanted to be reelected in South Carolina, so he had to be a Trump supporter, and also he likes being in the action.
Right.
So that was his way to do it. There's a book called "Thank You for Your Servitude" that Mark Leibovich, who used to write for the New York Times, now for the Atlantic Monthly, #1 New York Times bestseller, which is just about how all these Republicans caved to Trump. And Leibovich is a very funny writer too. But Lindsey is, so I'll tell you, like Lindsey's main jokes were always about how cynical he is. And so I remember one Christmas break, we were leaving, and he said, "You taking your family anywhere for sun?" And I said, "Yeah, we're going to Vieques in Puerto Rico." And he said, and without hesitation, he goes like, "Do 2 fundraisers, one for the people who are for statehood, one for the people who are against statehood. They never talk to each other." And and that's just, I'm cynical was his jokes. And when he was running for president in 2016, we were in the bathroom, and I said to him like,
"Oh, that must be weird." Well, I mean, Lindsey
is it that
Graham.
weird to go to the bathroom?
I don't know. For guys, it is, because you see,
No,
for men,
you're at a urinal and there's the thing.
Like, don't you go to a urinal and you're like, "Oh, you fucking asshole! You voted against climate change legislation."
Not at this point. I mean,
right?
If it was Cruz at a certain point, but Cruz, Anyway, so
we're getting back to that. Don't think you're.
So I
say
say
to
that. Lindsey, like, if I were Republican, I'd vote for you in the primaries. He goes, "That's my problem." And so he's funny. He's just, I mean, it's been disgraceful how he
right. So
caved
how
to
do you
Trump.
how do you act civil to these people who are fucking horrible? They're terrible people.
Well, some of them I didn't act civil to, and Cruz was one, basically.
What is wrong with him?
Is there something wrong with him?
No, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Something wrong with him. And, I tell the story about the first time I met him, which is just, well, I've said this, that I probably liked Ted Cruz more than most of my colleagues like Ted Cruz.
Right.
And I hate Ted Cruz.
Right. He's the most hated guy in Senate, right?
Absolutely. Lindsey said about him, if Ted Cruz killed someone on the floor of the Senate and the trial was held in the Senate, no one would convict him. Or no, if someone killed Ted Cruz, that was it.
Right. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I fucked up Lindsey's joke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Lindsey. Okay. The first time I met him, okay, so my dad, right, he didn't graduate high school. So when I'm in high school, I get this vocabulary book to study for the SATs. And it's Johnson O'Connor. Now, Johnson O'Connor was this vocabulary maven from like 1928. And he had this book had starts with words that 55% of Americans don't know. and ends with 99%. My dad didn't graduate high school. He knew every fucking word in the book. So he's doing it, and he's not looking at it. He goes, okay, sophistry. And I go, I don't know. And this is 99%. He goes, well, that's kind of, lying by using a fallacious argument. Dad, how do you know this? I don't know. So the first time I meet Ted Cruz, 2000, he gets selected in 2012, November 2012. A month later, Sandy Hook happens. This deranged kid with Bushmaster AR-15 kills 20 kids, 6 adults. So I sign on to the assault weapons ban. Cruz has been elected. I don't see him. He doesn't show up until January 3rd. He gets sworn in. He comes over to me. He doesn't say, hi, I'm Ted Cruz. He just comes over to me and says, anyone who's for the assault weapons ban is engaged in sophistry. So as soon as he says that, I go, what an asshole. He thinks I don't know what sophistry is. Sophistry is a word that's used a lot in law school,
Right.
especially in mock trials and by lawyers, but I know what it is. So I go, okay, Ted, how am I engaged in sophistry? He said, well, Clinton's own Justice Department did a study on the assault weapons ban, said it didn't work. And I said, no, it didn't say that. You're talking about the 2016 report, and which only had a year of data to operate with because the bill was passed in 2014, and it said actually it looked like it did work, that gun violence was reduced by 6% in 2015, but they didn't have enough data to draw a statistically significant conclusion. Now he gets really mad because I knew what I was talking about. And he goes, well, you just read the report. So I go, okay. So obviously I'm familiar. I'd read about the report because I knew that was going to be one of their arguments. So I go back to my office. I go to my judiciary counsel, and I say to him, Ted Cruz just said to me that anyone who's for the assault weapons ban is engaged in sophistry. And my legal counsel, who went to Harvard Law, says, what's sophistry? And I say, okay, well, this is what it is. Okay. Yeah. I said, just go to the report, download, print out the relevant part of it, and I'll keep it in my pocket. Next time I see Cruz, I'll show it. Next day, I'm on the floor. I see Ted across. I'm a big Jack Benny fan, so I go,
Oh, yeah, I love Jack Benny.
I'm a big Jack Benny fan.
Yeah.
So I go, oh, Ted. Ted Cruz. And he won't come over. I go over to him and I say, Ted, yesterday you came up to me and said anybody who's for the assault weapons ban is engaged in sophistry. And he said, no, I didn't.
What a fucking piece of shit. His daughters hate him. I can't wait till one of them.
Isn't that amazing?
He's such a lie.
Isn't that amazing?
Blatantly lie.
Well, he does it all the time. And right after the Paul Pelosi thing, he did some kind of, we don't know the whole story. Might have been a male problem. He did that. And they're just such pieces of shit. Why are they such assholes? And that's why Tuesday was so great. Because, everybody said, there's going to be a wave, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't know. Because polling is so bad, one. And two, Franny said, she's not Jewish. She's Irish Catholic.
Okay. I mean, it's Boylston, right? Her maiden name, Boylston?
No, Bryson. Yeah.
She looks Jewish.
No, she doesn't.
I said she does.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so Franny, like last night or maybe the night before, said the American people basically said, stop it. And what it was the American people really, at a certain point, all these MAGA people, the Republican Party, whatever percentage of them are MAGA people, I think it's a majority, and their deniers are majority. But Americans just went, fuck you, stop it.
Right.
And it was really interesting that all these deniers who lost conceded.
I know. That's right.
Well, there's the 2020 election was stolen. I know we went to court 60 times to try to prove it and lost every one of them. But last night I really lost. I don't know what the fuck that was. It made no sense. But I think that Americans are going like, this is just dangerous.
It is.
And so I think really underestimated was the threat of democracy. And I remember people would go like, you can't use that as it's just inflation. It's people's economics. And there's an argument on that, which is they have no answer for inflation.
Right.
If you look at the Inflation Reduction Act, none of which is basically kicked in, but it caps pharmaceuticals for people in Medicare at $2,000. That's going to save people money. It allows Medicare to negotiate with pharmaceuticals. It's insulin. You can, if you're a senior, you get it to 30. It's capped at 35. It has so much in it that is actually going to address this. It's also a worldwide problem. It's worse in Europe. Part of that is the war. Yeah, gas prices went up because of the war. You have to.
But we
have to help Ukraine in this war.
I know.
And we're going to continue it because a majority of Republicans, I think, know that we have to.
Do you know which Republicans are saying the complete opposite of what they believe?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it depends what part of what they believe you're saying. I still keep in touch with some of my former colleagues on both sides, but with the Republicans, I just give them shit all the time. And they're friends, and I just say, you have to say the election wasn't stolen.
Right.
And then I'll write back. I have said a number of times that Biden is the president. I go like, that isn't, and
right.
And I just can't fucking believe it. And I say this is dangerous, especially after this last thing with the Pelosi stuff. I went like, are you guys, you got to condemn this,
Right.
You have to condemn this. You can't, this is obscene.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. And I think the American people looked at that. I think that really hurt them.
Right.
Because I think the American people look at this and go like, this is really beyond the pale. They said, stop it. Franny was right. Stop it. And I think that's what happened. And then also, of course, the Dobbs decision.
Oh, that's the worst.
I did a podcast last week with just right before the midterms with Cecile Richards and David Axelrod. And Cecile, of course, at one point.
I love her.
Oh, she's unbelievable. And David, I really love David. He's a little bit more hard-nosed and really thought there was going to be a wave. Yep. And at one point, because she and I had talked about Dobbs, and he went, and he was going to base he started it this way. Cecile, you're kind of known, you're known as, and then he couldn't think of what to say, and she said, the abortion lady, which I thought was really funny. And he went, well, yeah, but also as and then he said something about a very savvy political mind. And he basically was saying, isn't Dobbs over? Not over, but isn't it peak, and isn't it not? And she kind of, no. She said, no, it's really important to women, but also, abortion has economic, and she did a very sophisticated response, but he was wrong. And if you look demographically at who voted and how many young people, why would young people care about abortion? And
I know these people,
young women, especially, but young men too. And so, and also that demographic is much more diverse. And the Republicans, who thought? Because I was going like, before this was happening, I'm going like, have we lost our democracy?
Right. I thought that too.
Yeah. And I'm going like, I've been thinking to myself like, I've been thinking for a couple of years now, we're going to have a tipping point where we lose our democracy. And I started thinking in the last couple of months, wait a minute, maybe the tipping point already happened. And it was a series of tipping points, which is starting in 2010, Citizens United.
That is the worst
The worst. We got to get rid of that. That is corrupted politics. It's all about money, 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 money. There's no public servants anymore.
Well, it's dark money.
Yeah.
And you saw the flood of dark money
Right.
and on these bogus crime ads, and it was ugly. But Kennedy, Justice Kennedy.
I hate him. I hate his fucking face. I hate the way his chin moves.
Anthony Kennedy?
Oh,
you're
Justice
talking about
Kennedy.
Kavanaugh.
I thought you meant John, the senator.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're talking about John Kennedy.
I'm sorry.
Senator
I'm so
from Louisiana.
sorry.
No.
Sorry.
Justice Kennedy wrote the opinion
Right.
on Citizens United. And in the opinion, he said, the great thing about this is there will be disclosure. And there isn't
There's no
disclosure.
disclosure.
And in fact, we had a vote on the floor after Scott Brown had won and was now, instead of 60, we're 59. So every Republican voted against disclosure. So my thing is like, okay, if you wrote the fucking opinion and in it you write, the great thing about this is there'll be disclosure, so it'll be transparent. Why don't you say, hey, guys, we have to revisit this?
Right.
But no, they don't do that. Shelby County is 13. They get rid of Title V in the Voting Rights Act. Title V is pre-clearance, meaning that the Voting Rights Act in 1965 included Title V, which said that the Justice Department, the federal government's Justice Department, has to review changes in voting law in jurisdictions that had traditionally suppressed votes of people of color. And that goes on a 5-4. Roberts writes the decision and says, well, these southern states and these jurisdictions, they've reformed, they don't do it anymore. Well, they don't do it because of Title V.
Right.
And Justice Ginsburg writes, that's like throwing away your umbrella while it's raining because you're not getting wet. Well, boom. Next day, like the Louisiana state legislature writes their voting laws. 2 years later, because under Title II, it goes through the court system. It takes 2 years for the Fourth Circuit to say they targeted African Americans with almost surgical precision.
Right.
That was the wording. Well, then why doesn't Roberts go like, you know what, I was wrong?
Right.
Well, no, of course not, because he's a dick. I mean, basically, because he's not honest. He's not an honest person, and this court is illegitimate. Part of it was, not taking up Merrick Garland was unprecedented.
How did they get away? Like we're not even.
They got away with it
you?
because they had the majority and they could get away with it.
I
But
hate them.
what they did was they lied about
Right.
They said that they used a premise that didn't exist, which is that if you don't take up the Senate advice and consent includes not even giving the guy a hearing,
Right.
and that had never happened before. And then,
Amy Conti Barrett in like a week, she gets
8 days or 9 days
Yeah.
before the election, and they had said you can't do this in an election year. And of course, Scalia died in February, and McConnell said, "Well, there's already been votes cast in New Hampshire. Okay, and so you can't do it during an election year." And now, then Coney Barrett, Bader Ginsburg dies in late September, and boom, they just put her through, and so they get rid of the non-existent premise.
I hate them.
Yeah,
I hate them.
There's a reason to hate them, and a reason to vote against them. And
I love talking to you. First of all, I have to commend you on your questioning of Neil Gorsuch. I found that to be
Wasn't that
very
good?
entertaining.
That was fun.
Yes, that was great. And his stupid fucking face where he was like this. What do you mean? Whoa, did I really say
I don't know.
that?
That was on the Frozen Trucker.
Yeah, I love that.
We don't have time to go through
Okay,
that.
I know,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I miss you. We need you.
Well, yeah.
I know.
I miss it too.
We fucking need you so bad.
I miss it too.
All right. I always ask my my podcast guests 2 questions at the end of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
All right. 1.
I'm Jewish. Is that one?
Oh,
of them?
yes. But Franny's
Okay, now
not.
you only- What's the second question? Okay, first question.
All right. Number 1, what do you do to keep your mental health? And the
Boy,
fact that
that's a good-
Franny stayed with you, 2 months in, you said you had like a depression. and then she stayed
Welcome
with
to
you.
me.
That was pretty damn good. But what do you do to keep?
Sane?
Yeah.
I count my blessings. I mean, I have these 4 beautiful grandchildren. I have 2 great kids. I mean, our kids are just
I know. Harvard and then Princeton.
wow. Yes, but then the Princeton
Went to MIT.
went to MIT.
I can't.
For graduate school, where he got a master's in engineering and in business.
I'm sorry. That is the Jew side of the family. I don't care what you say. Okay. Here's my second question.
And
All
the
right.
daughter went to Harvard.
Yeah.
And then became did Teach for America.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and became a teacher, and then was involved for years in the D.C. public school system.
Yes.
And it's just wonderful. Then she has 2 beautiful children.
Did either of them marry Jews?
Both of them.
Thank God.
One's a half-breed as well.
Well, all right,
yeah.
but whatever.
Half-breed.
Are they raising the kids Jewish?
Kind of.
Oh, great.
I mean, they know they're Jews. They know,
All right,
yes,
as long as
yeah.
they know, because
Yes.
of what's going on in the
No, they don't.
country. Right?
We took a holiday picture, and it was it was just me and Franny and the 4 grandchildren watching TV. And so at the time they were like, I guess 8, 5, 5, and 2. And I just put, the caption was Franny, me, and the grandchildren watching Judgment at Nuremberg. Because we're watching TV. And
All right. This is now I call my podcast Kill Me Now because I get aggravated at everything. And I'm always saying, like, kill me now. I can't take it. What pisses you off more than anything in the entire world?
Jesus Christ. I would say dishonesty.
Yeah.
That's just it. It just drives me fucking crazy. There isn't an honest word, obviously, that comes out of the sociopath, Trump's mouth.
Right.
But that these Republicans and these MAGA people, I mean, the disinformation. When I wrote Rush Limbaugh's a big fat idiot and other observations and lies and lying liars who tell them from, point out then that there's all this disinformation being put out by people on the right, and then it's just gotten worse since.
Right.
So that really pisses me off the most. It just drives me crazy that, and then the false equivalence that sometimes comes from the press and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But basically, it's that. That's what drives me crazy.
I cannot thank you enough. This was
Thank you.
such
I
an
can't
honor.
thank you enough. How's that?
You are such a hero, and I wish you would go back and, change the world. But you think we're on the right path? I hope.
I don't know. I mean, it's we can't take too much solace.
I know.
From this, but hopefully, when I get home, we'll find out that Cortez Masto is in the lead and will take over the Senate.
Right.
And I hope that if majority of the Senate isn't at stake in Georgia, that there will be Republicans in Georgia who are going like, okay, I can't vote for that guy.
Right.
It used to be that holding a gun to your wife's head was a disqualifier.
I can't. It's beyond.
It's amazing. And then
I did Rachel versus Guy with him, and dumb as a brick, but he made good chicken wings.
Wouldn't it be odd if like Herschel Walker won and then became like a great senator? that is.
He can't even complete a
that's
sentence.
like a fucking sketch.
Yeah,
I think that's a good sketch.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like
good.
Following his career over the years,
Yeah.
he becomes Ted Kennedy. You
Yeah.
know, he becomes like. He
I love
becomes
that.
Robert Byrd.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Al Franken. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of Kill Me Now with the one and only Al Franken. How fucking fantastic was that, huh? Kill Me Now is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling. This podcast would not be possible without Brittany Jo Soward's Richmond. She married a Jew. If you haven't subscribed, really, seriously, please leave a review. Then more people find it. Then I can do more ads. Not more ads, but I can get some money for the ads I do, and then I can keep it on the air because right now I'm not, breaking even. But I love it. I love it. It's a labor of love. 5 stars only, please. I want you to know that I've maintained a 5-star rating on Lyft. Okay? I'm still at 4.49 on Uber, so I don't even use Uber now because Lyft appreciates me. And I'm going to go with the one that appreciates me, even though sometimes they're a little more expensive. But, I get people who being nice to me instead of Uber, who's probably like, oh, I wonder what this bitch's problem is, I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, Uber. I always tip. I always am like, you don't even know. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Your car is so nice. Have a wonderful day. How are you? Blah, blah. So I am doing a lot of commentary on the Chappelle SNL monologue. And I talk about all this in my book. Yes, I can say that when they come for the comedians are all in trouble, which you can buy as a gift, a holiday gift. It's a great read. But I believe in free speech. Does some of the stuff make me uncomfortable as a Jew? Absolutely. Did I think there were some false equivalencies? Yeah, but he's, it's harder when it comes from someone who, you like and respect, but there's plenty of other people's things other comics say that I can't stand. I believe in free speech, and I think it's everyone's talking about it, and there should be discourse, and we should be talking about it, and people should learn the truth because a lot of it wasn't true. So, but as a comic, I feel one way. As a Jew, I feel another way, and then I combine the two and I eat. That's what I do. I eat something. And that's working really well for me now that I'm 60. What else do I have to tell you? I really love Henry and Elisa. I mean, I love Ben. I love Ben a lot, but he wasn't there. But Henry and Elisa, I can't with all they did. And my friends Robin and Luann and Aaron Millie, like everyone helped with the surprise. And I'm still on cloud, 9. Why is it cloud 9? Can someone please write to me and tell me why it's cloud 9? Also, I want to say, everyone who writes to me to say that they listen to the end, I fucking love you. And let's see who's today's person who listens to the end is Gail Nestle. Gail, I want to thank you for listening to the end, Gail. You are a delight. I think you're from Canada, if I remember correctly. But I really appreciate you. So thank you for listening to the end, because I can't stand my fucking voice. Cannot stand it. So there's that. Please come to my shows. Please go to my website. Please go to, tweet. What the fuck's going to happen with Twitter? That's another thing. Yeah, what's going on with Twitter? I mean, he's such an asshole, isn't he? Like, it's just, why do you have to be such an asshole? Like, these men and their fucking egos and like ruining people's lives and livelihood. Like, ugh. Whatever. So that I'm still on Twitter at Judy Gold, Jewdy. I know I have to go on another one, but Brittany Jo Soward's Richmond, who is my executive assistant, is like, can't deal with it right now. So great. But I'm on, I'm on the Instagram and the Facebook and the TikTok. I got to do more. I'm going to be doing more stuff on TikTok. I feel like I dropped the ball. I did drop the ball, but now I'm 60 and I can pick the ball up, even though my back hurts. It's an old joke. All right, I got to go. This is going on way too long, but I love my CPAP machine, by the way. Goes up my nose and I can breathe. And I'm not snoring, and Elisa stays in the bed with me all night. It's the best part. All right. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy overeating. It's a celebration of togetherness, because the Thanksgiving, not a positive in the whole history of the United States of America, but whatever. We're here, we're queer, democracy won, and now we can eat. Food. So enjoy whether you're with friends, family, whether you're alone, whether you're doing something for other people. God bless you. Just enjoy and get those Black Friday deals because, it's now or never. Thank you all so much for listening. And as we always say, so long.